It's insane to think that it's been 6 years since the current generation of consoles released, which means whether we're ready or not, the next generation is right around the corner. Starting with the hardware, both the new Xbox and PlayStation are going to see a massive jump in performance compared to the current gen. Just like the current consoles, both systems will be using custom AMD hardware, but this time the CPUs are going to be based on AMD's upcoming Zen 6 architecture, while the GPUs are going to be based on the upcoming RDNA 5 architecture. For reference, the current PS5 and Xbox Series X are using Zen 2 based CPUs and RDNA 2 based GPUs, meaning by the time these new consoles launch, we're looking at over 7 years of architectural improvements. And from the leaks that the YouTuber Moore's Law is Dead provided, his estimates suggest that the Xbox Project Helix could be around 5 to 6 times the rasterized gaming performance of the Series X, with ray tracing performance being potentially up to 20 times stronger, which is honestly insane. That would put the system around RTX 5080 level performance in traditional gaming, and with ray tracing potentially competing with even the RTX 5090. It's also rumored to have 48 gigabytes of GDDR7 memory and target native 4K at 120 FPS. Now for the PlayStation, there is less information available, and just like the current generation, it will probably end up being weaker than the Xbox, but not by a game-changing difference, and it will still probably target things like native 4K and 120 FPS. Another massive focus for both of these consoles is neural rendering. Like it or not, neural rendering is probably going to be the future. Most of the official information we have on the Xbox involves machine learning features like FSR Diamond, which is expected to be AMD's next generation of upscaling and frame generation technology, along with a dedicated NPU specifically designed for AI and machine learning tasks, instead of relying entirely on the CPU or GPU to process them. This generation is supposed to have an even bigger leap in performance than from the PS4 to the PS5 did. And now, while performance is something that's extremely important, I'd argue that there's one thing that beats it: the price. Value has always been one of the biggest reasons people buy consoles. Even today, you still can't really build a brand new gaming PC that beats a base PS5 at the same price. But for the first time ever, console prices are going up instead of down. Look at this chart. This is showing the adjusted for inflation price over time of every single PlayStation that released. The PS1 after 5 years went down to $196, a 70% decrease. The PS2 after 5 years went down to $258, a 50% decrease. PS3 a 45% decrease, and the PS4 a 30%. The PS5, while not a huge increase at only 2%, it's a 2% increase after 6 years. It started with Xbox. The Series S 512 gig went from $300 to $400, while the Series X increased from $500 to $650. And then PlayStation recently did the same thing. The standard disc PS5 is now around $650, while the PS5 Pro already had a crazy launch price of $700, is now at $900 US, making it the most expensive mainstream console ever released. So how much are the next gen consoles actually going to cost? Right now, nobody really knows. I doubt even Sony or Microsoft fully knows yet either, but one thing seems almost guaranteed is that these systems are not going to be cheap. The next Xbox is rumored to potentially cost somewhere near the $1,000 range, with the PS6 likely being at a minimum around $700. Now, even at those prices, they would still technically be good value compared to a PC with similar performance, but I think that's kind of missing the point. Console gaming has traditionally appealed to people who care about the simplicity and value. And if these rumors are true, next gen can end up pricing out a massive portion of the typical console audience, which also means adoption is probably going to be way slower than people expect. Just look at how many people are still on a PS4, and remember how long it took for current gen consoles to actually become readily available. For almost 2 years, the PS5 and the Xboxes were being scalped consistently, and with how insane scalping is these days, good luck getting one near launch for even close to retail price. But this is where things stop really feeling like a traditional console release, because consoles themselves are changing. Console makers don't just compete with each other anymore, now they also have to compete with PC gaming, which has grown massively over the past few years. And that's exactly why Project Helix is so interesting, because from everything we currently know, it sounds more like a gaming PC than a traditional console. It's confirmed to support PC games, and it's expected to run a gaming-focused version of Windows 11. Microsoft is even testing a new gaming-focused interface for Windows right now called Xbox Mode, which which honestly feels like a preview of what Helix could be like. What I've been wondering though is whether or not Microsoft will actually allow users to fully access Windows itself. Can it use Steam? Can it download mods? Which is what I thought it would be, but now that I think about it, I doubt Xbox wants to split revenue with Steam, so it'll be interesting to see how locked down the system actually ends up being. Sony will probably continue doing what they're doing, making more traditional high-end consoles because they don't have a reason to drastically change. PlayStation is still massively ahead in market share, and most people already invested into that ecosystem probably don't want to switch. Meanwhile, Xbox has struggled to compete with the PlayStation for generations, which means they have to try something different, and that's why they seem to be targeting the PC audience so heavily, especially with things like the Steam Machine also entering the conversation. Which reminds me, when are these things actually coming out? Honestly, like all of this, we still do not really know. The Steam Machine is a perfect example of how weird the current tech market is. It was expected much earlier and has already gotten multiple delays already, and a lot of this depends on the AI market, because right now the AI hardware demand is affecting basically the entire tech industry. The next Xbox currently is rumored for 2027, while the PlayStation rumors range from anywhere from 2028 to 2029, which would honestly be terrible for Sony, though I would definitely take those rumors with a grain of salt, because realistically, if one company launches first, the other probably won't wait very long to respond. But I do hope for everyone's sake that these consoles end up being great. Competition benefits everyone, and good luck to everybody who's going to try and buy them when they come out. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed, and peace.